Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another review. This time is the SH Figuarts Kamen Rider 1 Sakurajima version, the renewal, and I am excited to bring it to you. This one, it was a super duper exclusive at the Tamashii Nations show. I managed to get my hands on one, and I'm excited. Mostly because I love the renewal line, and I want to make sure I have it complete. It is one of my must-have lines, and it's just, I love Kamen Rider, so to have the definitive versions of them via renewal is just something that I enjoy immensely. So, what else didn't have the Sakurajima Rider 1? Badass, right? Anyway, let's get started. First and foremost, the first thing I want to talk about, even before articulation, is that I want to talk about. I've done this review a few times already, and you guys will probably never see that. Maybe I'll put a blooper in at the end. But the antenna, you definitely have to be careful with the antenna. I actually lost one, and you do get replacement antennas. That's the first thing I want to talk about. I already had to use one of them. Hopefully, I'll never have to use it again. Because should I might be in trouble at that point. But the antennas are very fragile. If they pop out, they are hard to find. And that's one thing about the line. They add a ton of realism to it. And because of that, antennas will pop off. So I just wanted to point that out. Anyway, let's jump into the review. First things first, we're going to jump into the articulation started with the head. You can look up. You can look down. You can tilt left and right. You can rotate all the way around very easily with the figure. It's very nice. It's one of those things with the renewal line. You actually get real proportions based on the suit actor, so that's very nice. One touch that they added that I thought was really nice is that you can see the human skin under the costume. So you know that even though he was a cyborg human, he had some of his humanity left, even under his Henshin gear, before he went full-blown, full turtlenecked up. But this was one of the things I really enjoyed about that. They added that level of realism, and you can see the hair on the back as well. Something I really, really enjoy. The compound eyes are something I've always liked. They just flow and look really good in the light, and that's something I really like. As far as arm articulation goes, the arms can go all the way up. They have a bicep swivel. They can rotate all the way around and through, as you can see here. There's even a small butterfly joint that allows you to get an extra bit of articulation. Mine's actually very tight, but as you can see, you can pull it down and pull it up, and you have to just rotate your butterfly joint in, but you get a little bit of wiggle room here. The arms are double jointed, so you actually get a great amount of rotation going up, and you get your standard SHF ball joint, which allows you to rotate it 360 degrees in a flex motion as if you were a flexible person yourself. Now, the chest area is really nice, and I wanted to get into that a little bit more in depth because you actually get these chest plates that you can actually move around to manipulate the chest area. That gives you basically room to do whatever you want, which is really, really dope. So as you can see, there is a lot of upper torso swivel as well as lower torso swivel. So you can get maximum articulation from this guy in the upper torso. It's really nice. The belt has a nice touch to it. If you see my Shinkoucchou review, you'll know that he actually has the white belt here. And on the Shinkoucchou, it's the red belt. I love the color contrast about that because here it is a much darker black. There are no stripe lines, no silver. So the black and green is a more subtle and more powerful view to me. As far as leg articulation, goes out about this far, which doesn't seem like much, but it does come really far forward, and it does go really far back. The legs are double jointed as well, and they look really nice. There's actually a nice little covering to cover up that knee if you want to. You can't rotate the boot, but you do get rotation at the foot, and there is a toe pivot. That covers all the basic articulation for the figure, so let's actually get into a cool Rider 1 pose. Now, Rider 1 doesn't come with much, but he is really nice, and he looks really nice, especially if you're a classic Showa fan. So he does come with his traditional scarf, so you can float in the wind. There's going to be a ball port that actually starts all the way down here. You can actually rotate that. And if you want, you can pop it in wherever you want. I'm actually going to rotate it back a little bit further. And let's actually put it in, let's do the flowing one, actually. You can actually rotate that all the way back and through, as you can see here. So it looks really, really good. Next up, you also get a relaxed scarf, which is really nice. So you get two versions of the scarf. Next up, as far as hands go, you get Rider 1 action hands. It's when you want to do your classic posing. You get Henshin pose hands for both left and right, two of each. These are items, these hands that you have actually on him that I put on are hands for riding bikes, holding enemy weapons, which are shaka items, and things like that. Then you get more relaxed action palms. which curve down. These ones can also hold items if you really want to. And if you really want to be like my boy Chainsaw, you can slice the top finger so that way he can hold other items like guns. This is if you want to get crazy. And he actually starts off with his traditional closed fist for punching. Gotta punch Shaka, right? So, unlike the previous Sakurajima, which was a normal release under the regular SHF line, he doesn't come with the powered up Rider Punch. He doesn't come with the Shocker Sword that he steals back from them. But it is really nice. The reason why I have his bike in the background is because before I started the review, I was testing to see if he fits on it, which he does, but he doesn't look as good. But I'll go over that in a second. So real quick, I'm going to open up the old Sakurajima, as you can't see on camera, but you can hear. And I'm going to compare him to the new one, so you guys can see the huge difference there is. So this is the old Sakurajima Rider 1. That's actually from SHF, which I thought, yeah, it looks good. It'll hold up. It looks really nice. And then you get this one, and you're like, what was I thinking? When you compare the two. So when you put them together, there's literally no comparison. But both are still actually really nice figures. But proportion-wise, you can clearly see the difference here now. So, yeah. I'm going to put you away now. I did also test the fact that the old Sakurajima Rider 1's weapons do work on him. So if you have the old one, it'll be a nice compliment to add this on to him. So you can add the Rider Punch. I'm going to do that actually real quick. Where's the punch? So you actually rotated that out a little too far. So excuse me for that. So you can actually add the Rider Punch on. It actually works just fine. So all in all, you'll probably need both if you want the perfect amount, especially because the old Sakurajima one goes for really cheap now. So actually, let me add the other hand back on. One other thing I want to add is I want to show you guys what he looks like on the bike. So this is the Cyclone, the first one, which also goes for the Sakurajima one. And real quick, I'm going to just put him on so you guys can see what it looks like proportion-wise on there. Excuse me. Hopefully I'm not catching a cold. Head can tilt up. Let's put these hands down. So just like on original drawings, he doesn't fit on perfectly. Let's actually lift these legs up. Actually, he does fit really well, way better than the older one. Because this is how he would look riding it. So he actually does have the look. I just gotta fix those legs to look more natural. But as far as fitting on, he actually does look really good on it. Not too big, not too small. Just like a guy riding his old school bike. Now, if you have the Shin Ichigo, you already know that he fits on the Shin Cyclone. So if you want to put him on either bike, it's actually just fine. Now, real quick, going to jump into the size comparisons and comparisons with Shin Ichigo. Let's start with his true and final form that he gets, that he uses throughout the ages after this. Compare it to his Sakurajima version. So as I was saying, color-wise, you see the difference. It's a darker green here. The black and the greens contrast really well. The darker red compound eyes. Here we have the silver lines, the lighter green, the lighter helmet of green. And yeah, it looks good. But something about the Sakurajima just screams classic Showa, as well as his belt being a bit smaller here, as well as the wind tunnel as well. This one is much larger and more full and robust. Now on to size comparisons. Let's fix your head up a bit. Make you look tall and proud for everybody. I'm going to compare him to another renewal first up, the outside of one, and that's Kamen Rider Decade. So you can see size-wise, looks good. Has a nice bit of height to it. Both look really spectacular next to each other. Love it. Next up, we're going to compare it to an Articulated Icons Ninja. Rider 1 actually has a very good height with it, and I like that. I didn't think they would fit really well, but I was mistakenly wrong. So that's really cool. Next up, we're going to choose a Marvel Legends. Yeah, Marvel Legends Mr. Fantastic. As soon as I get him out of all this. So as you can see, he has a decent height with Marvel Legends. Mr. Fantastic standing pretty much side by side with him. So that's pretty cool. One thing I forgot, but I'm actually pulling it out on camera, is I don't know how I forgot to compare him to a Shocker. So I have one right here. Took one out real quickly. Here he is next to the Renewal Chakra Combatman. So as you can see, they're a bit smaller, but they do work really well still with Rider 1. And that's really good because what's Shaka tool without Rider 1? Next up, we're going to compare it to a 1000 Toys Synthetic Human because, you know, army builders are fun. So as you can see here, he actually has a really good height with him. 1000 Toys is a little bit taller, but they still stand in about a really good range with each other. Really nice. Next up, we're going to have my Kit Bash Cable, which is made from a Mezco Punisher body, but has the old boy's cable head. And I'm just going to put him right next to him. Looks pretty good. Has immense height on him, but it's not too bad. You know, it's whatever. If you do force perspective or you do photos, I think you'll be fine with it. Not too much of a big deal. But he is smaller in actuality. And last but not least, the Mythic Legend Blood Fury Orc, which has tremendous height. And because they're Blood Fury Orcs, I'm totally fine with it. They're supposed to be big and gigantic and want to hurt you. So I'm totally fine with it. I'm okay with that. All in all, I've really enjoyed the figure. He is really hard to get now. So if you don't want to pay the price for him, I totally would understand it. And you're totally fine with your normal release of Rider 1. It's cool too. But if you are a huge Showa fan, this is a must-have for you. Especially considering when you compare it to the older one. It blows it out of the water. In the meantime, guys, hope you enjoyed. Hope you found it informative. But most of all, I hope you do good, be good, drink your water. Later.